let me tell you about the hallmark of the narcissist, this guy up here, or girl, the silent treatment. They use the silent treatment because it puts them in the dominant position. Their whole goal is dominance, not mutuality, reciprocity, but having power in the situation. Turning it off every once in a while, ghosting you, going silent, is a way of putting you in your place. But then it's followed by love bombing. You have strange silences, and then they love bomb you back. And what happens is you get addicted to them. We all need, social interaction. We're wired for that. And they're so nice when they're love bombing you. So we want that. And then when they turn it off, we get curious. We attend to the situation. Our mind is on it. And then they come back and we're relieved. Well, that's called intermittent reinforcement, the addictive process. We get addicted to the torturer, the narcissist, who uses the silent treatment like a rudder in interactions. They love you, they disappear. They love you, they disappear. Well, hopefully, if you're an empath, eventually you will tire of it. All in 1 minute, you're gone. The narcissist is empty. They're a parasite. They need reactions. They need likes. They need our reactions to be whole because they have nothing inside. They're the parasite. We're the host. And because we're compassionate, and Jesus was compassionate for the masses. He had compassion. We are loving people. We give them the attention they so need to exist, not knowing what's happening. Once we know what's happening, we're not in this system at all. But this could go on for years. We give them what they want. We absorb things when they mess up and don't even apologize. We forget it. They certainly forget it. They don't even know what they're doing. And we go back brick after brick after brick. We forgive it until the bricks get too high. We can't see over them. And then that's the day we walk out. We walk out, that begins the individuation process of us becoming whole. It often just shoots us to the stars in our career when we get all of our selfhood back. You see, we were relying on them to be whole. We were giving away ourselves. But when it crumbles, we take that back, we begin to individuate while they crumble because they were depending on us. All of the while acting superior. And we bought that. That is the system with the narcissist and the empath. She did it to me for a whole year. She was living in one of my houses. I saved her from homelessness. I saved her life. But you see, the narcissists are going to run their game anyway. They don't have the same kind of gratitude that you and I do. They're going to run their number. And if you're the least little bit needy, you want interaction and they're so sweet when they're love bombing you and you want it back, and then they turn it off and they go away for a couple days, won't answer texts, nothing. And then they finally come back and you're relieved. You become an addict. You become a people addict. This went on and on for 1 year. Finally, she did something so absurd. I honestly think they don't know anything. She divulged personal information about me, and I couldn't believe it that she could do something like that. And there were other things. And finally, I was just done. I turned it off. I got all my selfhood back. It all came back inside. She was now suddenly irrelevant to me. And then what happens is the crumbling narcissist will do anything to get you back. They want access to you because you fulfilled them. They're the parasite, you're the host. And I remember being in that position decades back when somebody would do that to me and I would want them back and do everything, beg and just beg and do, I'll change, I will never, it's too late. Once that turnabout has happened with the empath, they will never go back into that system, and they will probably mature. They were probably immature at the beginning, but now this was a springboard to their total maturation. narcissist has a demon inside. It's the devil. To steal and kill and destroy and kill you. They say they love you. They love you. Oh, we love to hear that. But then they come to break you. And they break you. And then you forget about it because you're a nice person. And you forgive. They don't even bother to apologize. Sometimes they're smart enough to apologize. But if you dare bring it up again, they say, oh, you have no forgiveness in your heart. You're filled with pride. You're bringing it up again. But I didn't learn the first time. So you're put in the position of walking on eggshells around them. Because if you don't, there's a torrent of adolescent blaming. There's false blame put on you. So you spend your whole time arguing with them as to why you're not that. That's your first mistake. Because if you argue with a narcissist, you're coming down to their level. Everything you're doing is replying to their insults or their false blame, their false guilt, their insinuations. The only way to deal with a narcissist is not say a thing. Let them blame you. Let them do their smear campaign. But you cannot come down to their level because they want you in the ring. That's how they get power over you, to insult you so you come back and argue with them. And it's an endless argument. It will never be solved. And as soon as you stamp out one thing, it'll be another thing. They slither like a snake. Don't do it. Go silent. And that silence is how you win and how they die. Their sudden clarity is their undoing. They wanted your calling, your testimony, your identity, your things, your friends, your history. They wanted everything. Remember, they're a parasite. They wanted to suck you dry of all those things. But now you're whole, and there's nothing that they can do about it. Don't go back. Don't feel sorry for them, because that's exactly what they want. They'll bring you back into your web, their web, and you've had it. You have to be totally silent. You're out of the ring, and then you'll begin to flower and develop. Your career will take out. All of your selfhood is back. That's wholeness. That's what Jung called individuation. That'll be the greatest day of your life. Now, you may have a few days of detox. You're detoxing from an enemy, a demon. I had really weird dreams the first night. Just alien, sickening, sad dreams. And it lasted all day long, a sickening feeling inside. That was a demon being removed. You'll have a day of sadness because they're begging you to come back, and they're using all kinds of guilt to get back into the ring, and you're not replying. You just don't want to, but the compassionate side of you wants to. You can't stand to hear the crying. Don't do it, because then they'll try one tactic after another. First they beg and plead and cry. That doesn't work. Then they use guilt. Then they blame you. In her case, she said, if I had the money, I'd leave here today. Okay, now I know she doesn't want to be in the house that I gave her. And, she's stuck there because she's broke. So now I'm stuck with somebody who doesn't even want to be there. I turned it around in my head rather than getting sucked back into the old game. Stay silent. Put it all back on yourself. If you want to feel compassion for anybody, feel compassion for yourself. Satan doesn't come with horns. This is a spiritual war. He comes with toxic ideology, emotional manipulation, seductive prayers. That's the religious group, but it can happen in all groups. Remember, it's seductive, it's intermittent, it's very coy. They'll try one thing after another. You got to be ready for all of it, and simply love yourself more and remove yourself. Because if you go back in, it's going to be much worse the second time. It's a spiritual war. All come as angels of light. This guy up here, yeah. But they come to steal, kill, and destroy. You know, in this generation, people are taught that no matter what happens, it's somebody else's fault. And that's another hallmark of the narcissist. They are never to blame for anything. They're always a victim. And you gotta be above that. You gotta be what is called a cold empath. A cold empath has compassion. They're a loving, godly person. But they've been through enough ups and downs and disappointments from human nature to see past all this. And if they want to give, they give. If they don't want to give, they withhold. They're a cold empath. They don't let somebody back in, because they know it's their soul that'll be destroyed, their household, their family. Be a cold empath. You're still empathic, but you are shrewd now. You know human nature. The narc, every bit of bitterness or chaos is somebody else's fault. Her ex was a sadist. She suffered family betrayal. She lost her job. The boss was bad. It doesn't matter. There's always somebody to blame. That's the narcissist. There is no self-awareness. They don't contemplate, did I do something here? They never think like that. They just want to ensnare you in an argument so that they get you back on their level. That's what it's about. Not even about winning the argument. It's just about ensnaring you. That's dominance. That's how they fight. That's how they get power. Not through achievement or doing something great, but by getting somebody else in their web. The moral satisfaction to blame. Women particularly are emotionally reactive. They react emotionally and they put the blame on somebody else. And then the insults are hurled. Then you have to tell them how they're not right about you and explain how they're wrong. Oh no, you can't ever do that. They have got to feel superior. It's the only way they can dominate. And women, they may say, well, gee, I apologize for doing this, but then they think about it and the emotions come out. Then they react, but you did this and you're that and you're this. And then you're caught in the web. A lot of marriages are like that. The man has to argue constantly with the emotional reactivity of females. Men have other neurosis. The two sexes have two styles of reacting. And I have seen this with women friends. They're very emotionally reactive, and you get caught up in a web. I refuse. Instead of calm deliberation and very, terse communication, just the facts, as simple as possible, they go on and on and on and on and on. And that argument can last all day long. And the result is exhaustion. To dominate is to gaslight, to put it on you. If you dare react and self-explain, it's the end of your life. That's the end of that day for sure. They gaslight. They've got to get you down to feel superior, and that is their main goal. Their raison d'etre is to dominate. Not to be logical, not to find the truth of the matter, not to get down to brass tacks, but to dominate. That's it. It's animalistic in that way. There's no brain in it. It's just ego. Everything just has to feed the ego. But if you dare bring up something they said, or turn it back on them, or act that way, then you're bullying them. You're being unforgiving. You're bringing up the past, the garbage of the past, even though it just happened 2 minutes ago. There's no mutuality here. You're a bully if you do the same thing they do. This thing is insoluble. There's no solving it. There's no explaining it to them. There's no giving them therapy. I don't know what can be the resolution for them except for you walking away and being silent. No matter what they say, you must be silent. Don't get entangled in the web of the black widow spider. Know these tactics. Do not be exploited, exhausted, and drained. You must. It's the only way. I know one man, to keep the peace, he would apologize for things he didn't do. Just to keep the peace. That may work for a minute, but she'll get on to something else. And it's never ending. I know men who become so squirrely and docile in that type of a marriage that it goes on their whole life. And it's never ending and it's never resolved. She'll find another way to dominate. It's the black widow spider. The narcissist, the more you engage in arguments, the more control they have. Because they're dictating the terms of the argument. You're reacting to what they say, their false accusations, their misjudgments, trying to explain yourself. That's what they want. They're dictating terms, and it's like a contract, and you get involved. There's absolutely no way to argue out of this. You must go silent. You give them the silent treatment and never change your mind, then you've won. You can't win any other way. This is the crazy-making addiction. They alternate between cruelty and affection. And you more and more and more, you need it more and enjoy it less. You need the affection more because they're battling you down to nothing, so you need more affection. So when it comes, you're just so relieved. It's like taking a drink. And then the cruelty, affection, cruelty, affection. In never-ending cycles like this, as you get weaker and weaker and weaker. Don't get involved. Don't get addicted when the love bombing comes around. That's the gist of this. This addictive cycle of intermittent reinforcement, you get addicted to the reward when they're kind. And you just hang on to that. When will she or he become kind again? Cycles, cruelty, and some kindness. They're not always cruel. That'd be easy to see. That'd be easy to get out of the system. It's the fact that it's intermittent. They're sometimes kind. And that's all you think about when you think back. You know, therapists have remarked about abused women who come to see them. And when he's mean to her, her memory is only of him being mean. When he's kind to her, her memory is only of him being kind. It's called state-dependent memory. The state you're in determines what you remember. And that's what this is. When the narcissist is kind, it's all you're thinking about. It's all you remember. You got to remember both. You got to remember the sick cycle. Sickly cyclicity. In toxic systems, kindness is just a tool of manipulation. It's planned. They know what the candy is. They know what the reward is. Kindness. And you're so happy. And you're so relieved. Oh, you know, light at the end of the tunnel. He's different. He's changed forever. He loves me. That's the tool of Satan's manipulation. Toxic dependency, they always blame you for what they're guilty of. Oh boy, I'll never forget it. On and on, defending myself. And they were the ones doing it. They always do that. It's the most frustrating thing. This system, if it doesn't kill you or drive you to drink, there's only one way. Release with love or release with hate. Whatever you do, release it. Go silent. Go silent. The important thing I want you to remember is don't let them dictate the terms of the argument, because that puts you in a subordinate position. You don't want to be in a subordinate position in this system. So you don't react to them. If you have to talk, you dictate terms. Know these tactics and inscribe them in your brain. And when you go back to the system, you won't be drained. You won't be exhausted, because exhaustion is the mental illness. This is how people create mental illness in each other.